Congrats on the success of Hacks.
Thank you so much.
We laugh. I laugh so hard at the show.
That's the goal.
So much of this season is about acquiring or attempting to get a late night show.
Yes.
Did you reach out to people in late night? Did you not have my email and you were nervous? And then you got it, but then you still didn't want a cold email? How did it work?
You know, I know you have a lot going on.
Yeah.
You have a lot of news to read. You have a lot of things to do. So we had a bunch of consultants on the show that had worked in late night.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we had a peek behind the curtain from our writers.
Because it is, I mean, I feel like you're writing about the comedy industry and it's singing to me.
Oh.
But then I'm going, is the rest of the country also understanding and laughing at all this? But it feels like you've really done that.
That's good.
How have you created a show about show business that my friends in Michigan like also?
Wow.
And they're idiots.
I love them. No. You know, I think because it's a show about people who have been kind of cast aside by the industry,
Yeah.
I think it's really relatable because you know what it's like, or a lot of people know what it's like to be on the outside of something and want to break into it.
Yeah.
And, you know, this woman, Deborah Vance, played brilliantly by Jean Smart,
Yeah.
you know, is this Vegas stand-up and kind of had to carve out her own path outside of show business. So I think because of that, you know, people who want to do creative work or people who want to do something and have a craving for something really understand that want.
Her drive, her ambition, yet her selfishness.
Yeah.
That's one thing I also got to ask you about. Does one have to be selfish to be successful? I'm asking myself that question. But it comes up in Hacks.
Oh, yeah, it's a major theme. I hope not, because I'm an angel.
Right.
So I mean, I hope you don't have to be. But, you know, I think you have to be selfish to a certain degree in that if you are somebody like the characters in the show, you have to really be married to your work. You know, it's like really all about devoting yourself 150%. So in that way, I think, you kind of do sacrifice things in your life.
Was it important for you to create a show where women from different generations are interacting? Because that's one thing that when I was looking at Hacks and not just laughing with it, and I was like, holy shit, these are just two totally different age groups interacting, which is pretty rare on TV. Yeah,
I mean, that was the thing for us, is we had never seen a show, I mean, other than maybe Mother-Daughter or something, where there were two people that were so different that became friends.
Yeah.
So that was really one of the most interesting parts of the dynamic.
Yeah.
Also, it let us explore different ideas from their frame of reference, which would be so different.
Yeah.
And so we can do that over and over again in a way that hopefully is, you know, sensitive to both of their points of view. Nobody's ever 100% right.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, that is what's fun. Is as soon as I'm liking Deborah, she breaks my heart, and then you know, So you've done that very well.
Thank you.
Hacks, that term in stand-up comedy, it's an insult.
It is.
It means you are telling old jokes. You're not being creative.
Right. How do you know?
Exactly. Honestly. Edit that. Edit that. I know because I'm fearful of it.
Yeah.
You know, the worst thing you can be called is a thief.
Oh.
The second worst thing you can be called is a hack.
Yes.
So how did this term in the title happen? And sometimes I wonder if it's accurate for the show. Am I right to question that?
No.
Okay. Well, that's why you're here. I'm here to ask you that.
No, I mean, it is interesting because we kind of called it that in the beginning, and it was sort of like a temporary title.
Okay.
But it is like this thing of, and you see people on late night actually, a lot of times comedians I find, or I think we can all agree, sometimes go on late night and they still kill. And they're so funny because they're in touch with what's going on in culture. And then there are some people that age out. Yeah. And some people that are on and you're like, why is this person still doing it? Or why are they still telling the same jokes? So in the beginning of the show, this young writer interviews for this job with this older stand-up and says, I would never want to work for a hack.
Right.
But what she learns in the course of the show is that a hack is somebody who does the same thing over and over again. Yeah. But our character learns and grows because of her relationship with this younger person, and vice versa. I mean, the younger person is an entitled Gen Z person that learns the value of hard work and gets up earlier. You know, there's a lot of things that she gets back from Deborah.
You co-created. There's a lot of, you know, you write on it. Yeah. You've directed, right?
Yep.
And you're in it.
Yeah.
That's a shitload of stuff.
Too much.
Too much stuff.
Too much. Yeah.
Wearing all the hats. How do you compartmentalize? Is it too many things?
You know, they all kind of go hand in hand for me. I mean, being able to perform is the most fun, but also having written it, it gives it a little bit more of a freedom and an effortlessness when I am performing. Directing is something that, you know, I think when we write visually and we think about the way that the show looks and how it's composed. And so that is also something that feels like it's just integral to the work, but it is the hardest part. Directing is hard. Directing is really hard. Yeah. Because you have to think about time, and you know, there's a whole crew of people that are making this thing happen, and you're deciding if you can move on or you get another take. It's just like that stuff is much less fun than saying lines.
I mean, you're also dealing with talent, but in yourself, you're dealing with yourself.
Yeah, and that's the hardest.
You ever think about that?
Yeah.
Like this guy Paul is such an asshole to the director.
Absolutely.
Right. And that director's.
I am the most demanding of the director, and I'm the hardest on the actor Paul.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure, exactly. There's a line in episode 1, season 3, where you're at the JFL Just for Laughs festival, which
rest in peace.
Rest in peace is now bankrupt.
Yeah.
But there's like young people at the bar, and one of them's looking around, and he says, "God, it feels so 80s in here."
Yeah.
And I laughed out loud. Who wrote that, and what does that line
I have
mean?
to tell you that was improvised by that actor.
Are you serious?
Yes, I give credit where credit is due.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, shit.
Thanks.
So now he's a co-writer. Now he's a co-writer.
Jordan improvised that.
Okay.
And yeah, that's the thing. We try because myself, my wife Lucia Agnello, and Jen Statsky, who created the show, we all come from improv and sketch comedy. And so when somebody brings something to the role that makes it better, we're like, great, let's use it. So we're constantly adapting on set.
I feel like you and your co-star in the scene that showed are improvising a fair amount. Is that accurate, or does it just feel so natural?
Yes, but in the scene that you just saw, that was completely scripted.
It was.
That was very, very scripted because there were so many, you know, that woman who was taping us had to like, you know, there was a lot of moving parts to that scene, but we do improvise a fair amount.
That's great. That, I told you backstage, but that episode really resonated with me because as a comic, it's like, get to JFL, get to Just for Laughs, and holy shit, you guys nailed it so well.
Thank you.
But there's also a little bit of a dig there on this show called On the Contrary that Hannah's character plays. And it's a man wearing an Uncle Sam hat, and they're talking about how important comedy is and how it changes society. And I'm watching it, and I'm looking around here, and I'm seeing the red, white, and the blue. And then I was thinking, you know, one of the things I like about Deborah's comedy is that it isn't always important. It isn't always changing the world. And I want to know what your thoughts are on, is comedy important? Is it meant to be? Does it need to be? Can we just do a joke where we do fart noises in our armpits sometimes?
My favorite joke. My favorite joke. I think comedy is important even if it's not satire and it's not political comedy. I think it's important because I don't know, that thing of like getting together with people and laughing, it does bring people closer together. I know that sounds so woo-woo, but it's true. I mean, don't you guys feel connected? Don't you guys feel like...
It was fun. Was the Daily Show in there when you were thinking about that?
There's DNA in the Daily... there's absolutely Daily Show references in there.
Speaking of the Daily Show, tell us quickly, you have a little bit of experience in this building.
Well, I met Ilana Glazer from Broad City, who I worked with on Broad City, on this street because we both auditioned to be on-camera interns on the Daily Show. And neither of us got it.
That's why I made him bring it up, because,
but that's okay. It's okay.
I do love that.
It worked out.
That's where you met her.
That's where we met on the street. She had met my wife, Lucia, and she said, "Hey, you're Paul." And I said, "Yeah?" And she said, "I know Lucia, and I'm just like her, but 3 years younger." And I was like, is this a time travel thing? It was very, but you know what? That's very Ilana. It's kind of classic Ilana.
That's so funny because this is also part of the reason why everybody I meet on the street, I keep in touch with for years. Because you never know. Thank you for coming. The Hacks is awesome. I love watching it. Everyone should watch it. Hacks is available to stream on Max. Paul W. Downs, everybody.